Masechet Batra Daf Nun Aleph. We continue with the Mishnah that says Velo la'isha b'nichse ba'ala, that a wife cannot make a chazakah on her husband's property, even though she's consuming some produce from his field for more than 3 years. They're a married couple. She cannot say, "Oh, this is my field and my husband sold it to me," because she's his wife, and therefore he has to provide for her. It makes sense that she would be consuming the produce from the land. So we ask about that. Peshita, kevan de'itla mezoneh hu deka achla. Isn't it obvious that a wife cannot make a chazakah on her husband's land, since he has to provide for her sustenance? So she is eating her sustenance. So obviously she's doing so with permission. And that's why the husband doesn't protest. His lack of protesting doesn't mean that it belongs to her. He's not protesting because he actually has to give her sustenance. So in this obvious Mishnah, why even say so? We need the Mishnah to teach us that this would be true, that a wife does not have a chazakah, even if the husband designates one certain piece of land for her sustenance. She said, "Listen, wife, I have to give you food. Here's this section, piece of land number A. That will be for your sustenance. Go and eat everything that grows there. You could do whatever you want, sell it, and so on. All the other land, that I'm using for business." And let's say then she goes and takes consistently for 3 years from land B. And so then she comes and claims, "Oh, this is mine. See, he designated land A for my sustenance. And here, I'm taking land B. For 3 years, he didn't protest, therefore it's mine." Can he do that? You might have thought that she can do that. And that's why the Mishnah comes to say, not so. A husband generally doesn't mind if his wife takes even produce from another piece of land and won't protest. And that's not a proof that it's hers. Okay, that's point number 1. Now we make an inference from the Mishnah, like we did from the previous clause. Ha re'aya yesh. Now, since it says that the wife cannot make a chazakah on husband's land, we can infer that if she has proof, let's say she has witnesses, or she has a document of sale that says that the husband sold a certain piece of land to his wife. She produces the document, then if she has proof, then that should be a valid sale, right? That would be an inference. Now, why would you think not? So here's the challenge. Maybe the husband never really meant to transfer the land to his wife. Perhaps he has an ulterior motive. He wanted to find some concealed money that she had. Generally, what the wife makes or finds goes to the husband in return for he providing sustenance. So now the husband suspects that she's been stashing away some money on the side somewhere. He doesn't know where it is, and he wants to expose it. So he tells his wife, "Hey, I'll sell you a field over here for $100,000. And his wife says, "Okay, I'm interested." And he gives her a deed of sale, and says, "Okay, where's the money?" And then she comes and she gets $100,000. And so he says, "Aha, I found it. I know you've been putting some money here on the side." He actually never meant to sell the field, and so the field does not actually transfer. So maybe even though she produces proof, she produces a deed of sale, maybe it should not be a valid transaction, because he was only making believe to sell it to her for ulterior motives, for finding some hidden money. So, yet we are making the inference that's a good sale. So, should we then conclude, Shemat mina, hamocher sadeh li'ishto kanta, ve'la amrinan legaluye zuzeh hu deba'eh. So, should we conclude from this Mishnah, really from the inference from the Mishnah, that if someone sells a field to his wife, that it is valid, and we do not say that he has an ulterior motive, that he's looking to expose money, because the inference is that the sale is valid in all cases. So is this a good conclusion? And we answer, no. Yesh bishtar matana. No, maybe when we make an inference from the Mishnah that if she has a deed, then it's valid, a proof, that's only if it's a deed of a gift. If she produces a document that says, "Look, says here that my husband gave me a gift of this field," in that case, that's certainly valid. She doesn't have a chazakah, but she can receive a gift. Now, if it's a gift, we do not suspect that he has ulterior motive. He's looking for hidden money because he's not getting any money. It's a gift. So that's the inference that we can make from the Mishnah, but we cannot infer from the Mishnah that if it's a deed of sale, then that's really a valid sale. If it's a deed of sale, then we do suspect that the husband had an ulterior motive and did not really mean the sale. He was only making believe to see if he could find some money that she was hiding. So that's the conclusion of this part of the Gemara. But now we're going to have another discussion of the very same topic. Amar le Rav Nachman le Rav Huna, lahava mor gaban be'urta v'tchuma, tamrinan mile me'aliyata. Rav Nachman tells his colleague Rav Huna, the master was not with us last night in the boundary of the town. There was a Bet Midrash that was outside the town and another one inside the town. It seems that generally in the day they would go outside, but when they were learning at night, they would go inside the towns, not go to travel at night. So it says, oh, you missed the Torah study session last night. And we said there, very good, great chidushim, you missed out. So Rav Huna feels bad. Rav Huna says, tell me, what did I miss? What was the fantastic words of Torah that you taught? And so Rav Nachman says, oh, I'll fill you in. If a husband sells a field to his wife, it's a valid sale. We do not say that he had an ulterior motive to reveal concealed money. No, we don't say that. It's a valid sale. So this here conclusion contradicts what we just said over here. Here we said it's a valid gift, but not a valid sale. We do worry that we had ulterior motives. But Rav Nachman's chidush from that night of learning was that it's a valid sale. We do not worry that he had ulterior motives. This was the great chidush that we came up with. That's what Rav Nachman says. Rav Huna says, that's not such a great chidush. Amar le pishita, dal zuzeh mehacha v'tikne bishtara, milo tenan nechasim sheyesh lehem acharayut, niknin bechesef bishtar ubechazaka. Rav Huna says, this is obvious because forget about the money. Imagine that there's no money here and the money was not, even if the money was not even paid, still, she would receive the land just by the deed of sale. Don't we learn in Mishnah Masechet Kiddushim that property that can serve as a guarantee for a loan, that includes land. If there's a loan that's with a written document, then that creates a lien on land, not on movable items. So, real estate can be acquired in one of three ways: by transferring money, with the transfer of a deed, a document of sale or a gift, or chazakah, physically taking possession of the land, meaning using it, like locking the gate or plowing a section of the land. So since we learned that in this Mishnah, the key for us is bishtar, that you can acquire a piece of land just with a deed. So the moment that the husband takes the deed and gives it to his wife, even if she doesn't pay any money, it's already a valid sale. So obviously it's a valid sale, and actually has nothing to do with what his ulterior motive is. It could be that he had ulterior. He wanted to see if she has money. Okay, so then he'd be waiting for her to pay money. But the fact that he's going to give her a deed in order to convince her to get the money. So even if she doesn't give the money, and so there's no kesef involved, but second he gives the document, so then it's a valid sale. So isn't that obvious that's a valid sale? You didn't come up with any chidush. I know that simply from reading the Mishnah. So what are you telling me? I didn't miss anything last night. That's what Rav Huna says. Amar le velavit mar Allah amar Shemuel lo shanu ela bishtar matana aval bishtar mecher lo kana ad shiten lo dameha. And Rav Nachman says, I do have a good chidush last night, because that Mishnah in Masechet Kiddushin, Shemuel said a statement about it and limited it and said this statement in the Mishnah that you can acquire a field just with a shtar, that's only if it's a deed of a gift. Then, once the deed of a gift transfers from the giver to the receiver, that's it. The deal is done, no matter what. But if it's a deed of sale, then it does not accomplish the transfer of ownership until the buyer gives money to the seller. Because it's a sale, so the seller has in mind, listen, I'll give you the document now, but obviously he doesn't fully agree to transfer his land until he gets the money. So this is really conditional. I'll give it to you now. I mean, someone has to do something first. So, okay, I'll give you the document first, and then he's expecting to get paid. If he doesn't get paid, then the transfer of the land does not go through. Shemuel said that. And therefore, if you had only the Mishnah, you would not know the halacha that I taught. See, so I do have a good chidush that for a husband and wife, the sale always goes through, and the reason is because we do not suspect ulterior motives. He really meant to transfer the sale of his land to his wife. We don't suspect that he's only trying to expose money. See, we could not have learned that from that Mishnah because Shemuel limited that Mishnah to a gift. So that's a good question. Rav Huna answers back. Velav motiv Rav Hamnuna bishtar kesad. Katav lo niyad ol al cheres af al pi shen bo shave peruta sadi mechura lecha sadi kinuya lecha harezo mechura untuna. Velav hu motiv la v'hu mefarek la b'mocher sadeo mipnei ra'ata. Rav Huna says, don't quote to me this statement of Shemuel, because after all, when this statement was under discussion, Rav Hamnuna already rejected Shemuel based on the following Baraita. The Baraita says, how do you transfer property with a document? If you write on a piece of paper or on a piece of clay, even though the piece of paper or the piece of clay are not even worth a peruta. So they're not transferring anything of value, but the seller just simply writes on something that's basically valueless, my field is sold to you. My field is acquired by you as a gift. Then it is in fact sold and it is in fact acquired. Right now we're reading this as two different cases, and one of the cases is about giving as a gift. That's true. That would fit with Shemuel. But the other case is selling, and you see it says here that once you write something, even if it has no value is transferred. I just write, my field is sold to you, and you take that piece of paper or that piece of earthenware, and the seller gives it to the buyer. Then that's it. The sale is final. So we see that Shemuel is rejected by this Baraita. So Rav Huna says, you see, since once we reject Shemuel, then we go back to the Mishnah. And the Mishnah already says that you can transfer money with a shtar, and that's true for a shtar, that's for a gift, and also for a sale. So you see that this Mishnah already says that once you give a shtar for a sale, the transfer is done, and that's why I know already, it's obvious that a husband who gives such a document to his wife, even without any transfer of money, the transfer will be valid. So you see, I didn't miss anything last night because we already rejected Shemuel. Rav Hamnuna already rejected him from this Baraita. But Rav Nachman has a response, even though you're right, Rav Hamnuna asked that question, but he also answered the very same question, motiv la mufarek la. And Rav Hamnuna says that this Mishnah is actually talking about a case of someone who sells his field because the field is so bad. This is a very poor quality field and he wants to unload it as quickly as possible. And so he finds a sucker who is willing to buy it, right, for whatever price. So he wants to seal the deal before the buyer changes his mind. Even if he doesn't get the money right now, he'll find it. He'll get it later. And that's why he writes something down quick and he gives him the document of sale. That's it. It's yours. See? Final deal. And then he'll get the money. And even if he doesn't pay right now, he doesn't care because he really wants to unload this bad field. And so, since this Baraita that says you can transfer money with a deed, whether it's a gift or a sale, that only applies to a limited case of a bad field. But otherwise, Shemuel is correct that a deed that on a regular type of field, a deed of sale, can only work if there's a transfer of money back. The person selling it gives the deed of sale, but is waiting to get the money, and until he does so, the sale is not final. Because of that, we wouldn't know that a husband who gives his wife a document necessarily means that the sale is final, Maybe he has ulterior motives. He's waiting to see if she's going to produce money. He never had in mind. So, if it was just from the Mishnah, I wouldn't know this law. And that's why Rav Nachman says, I do have a chidush that you missed out on because you could not have learned it simply from the Mishnah. So that's one end of this discussion. But there's yet another way to respond to this baraita, besides the way that Rav Nachman quotes that Rav Hamnuna responded. Rav Hamnuna explained that the baraita is talking about bad land. There's another way to explain this baraita in order to uphold Shemuel, and this one was given by Rav Bevai Mesayem Ba Mishemeh de Rav Nachman. Rav Asher Amar. This is a little confusing. Well, who said it? Rav Bevai concluded this discussion in the name of Rav Nachman. It doesn't say Ve'amri la Rav Asher Amar. So what are these two names back to back? In the printed edition, you'll see Rav Bevai to Rav Nachman is in parentheses. But actually, if we look at the manuscripts, right, so this is the Vilna edition on top, they take out Rav Bevai Mesayem Ba Mishum Rav Nachman says only Rav Asher Amar, which sounds like it's only Rav Asher. But actually, that is not consistent with any of the other printed editions or manuscripts. All of the manuscripts have Rav Bevai Mesayem or just Mishemeh de Rav Nachman. And over here, there's one that has Rav Asher, but actually, all the other manuscripts don't have Rav Asher. So, if anything should be opposite, you should remove Rav Asher and leave in Rav Bevai. Okay. Anyway, whoever said this, probably Rav Bevai and not Rav Asher, says B'matana bikesh litena lo ve'lama katav lo b'lshon mecher kedei leyapot kocho. In fact, this baraita is talking about one case. He writes on the document, my field is sold to you and my field is gifted to you. Now, why did he write both? In fact, it was actually just a gift. B'matana. He wanted to give it to him as a gift, so that's why he wrote, I'm giving it to you as a gift. But he added language that it's a sale. Why? In order to enhance the power of it. You see, if I give you a gift, that's it, just a gift. I only write that this is a gift. And let's say it's taken away by a creditor that I have a creditor who had a lien on it. He comes and takes it away. Okay, he took away the gift. You have no claim against me. You can't come and say, hey, you gave me a gift and it was taken away. Give me another gift. Pay for my loss. I'll say, it was a gift. Okay, you had it for whatever, 10 days, and that was taken away. Oh, too bad. So your gift is gone. You have no claim against me. But let's say I want to make my gift to you stronger. I want to guarantee that very gift. So then I can write in the document, this is a gift and it's a sale. And since I write it's a sale also, so then you can come and say, oh, see, there's a language of a sale here, a sale with a guarantee. And that means that if I want to give you the gift, I'm still being nice, and I want to make sure that I'll be on the hook. I'll be responsible. You can rely on this gift. Even if someone takes it away, I'll have to come through and I'll have to give you another field or pay you the amount of that gift. That's why I wrote that. But really, it was only a gift. And therefore, this baraita does not contradict Shemuel because this whole baraita was talking about one case of a gift, just happened to have other language in order to make the gift stronger. And it says that it's valid with a document. That's consistent with Shemuel that says you can only transfer land with a document if it's a document of a gift. But if it's a sale, then you have to wait till you get the money as well. And since we uphold Shemuel, so this Mishnah, I would not be able to learn from this Mishnah that all gifts of sale automatically make something valid. Not true. A gift of sale is only valid if someone else gets the money. And therefore, that leaves room open to say that if a husband gives something to his wife and gives her a document of sale, that would not be valid until he got the money. And so maybe we would say, oh, you see, he has ulterior motives. He's waiting to get the money. Then he's going to say, okay, now I got the money. I never meant the sale at all. So from this Mishnah alone, we would not be able to learn the halacha. It could be that the sale would be valid. And that's why Rav Nachman says, I had a great chidush. You would not know it from the Mishnah. My chidush is that if a husband sells land to his wife, then it's a valid sale, and we do not suspect the husband of ulterior motive. Now we have a challenge from a baraita against Rav Nachman, who said that a sale from a husband to a wife is always valid. We don't say that he has ulterior motives, Because look at this baraita. Lava min ha'ebed v'shikrero, min ha'isha v'gersha, en lahen alav kelum. My tama, la mishum damrinan legaluye zuzeh hu deba'eh. If a master borrows money from his slave, the master says, listen, I'm out of cash, and his slave has some cash, he borrows $1,000, and then the slave goes free before anything is paid back. Or if a husband borrows $1,000 from his wife, and then it's the loan is still out, still due, and they get divorced. Can they come and collect from the master or husband that money? And the Baraita says, no, they cannot collect. What is the reason why they cannot collect? Because we assume that when he came to borrow money, he wasn't sincere that he really needed to borrow money. This was all a ruse. He wanted to expose any money that they were hiding. After all, any money that a slave or a wife makes or finds goes to the master/husband. And so he suspects that they are hiding some money. He wants to see if they are. So he goes and innocently says, hey, you happen to have $1,000 I can borrow? And so if they produce it, says, see, I knew you were hiding money from me. Really, that's mine. And so he never intended to actually borrow that money and pay it back. This money was his all along. He just wanted to make them expose it. And therefore, even after they go free or they are divorced, he does not have to pay it back. So there's a challenge because here, the Baraita doesn't say the reason explicitly, but we infer from the Baraita, it seems that the reason why the loan is not really a loan is because we assume he's trying to expose whether they are hiding money. If that's true, that's a challenge to Rav Nachman, because Rav Nachman says a sale from a husband to wife is always valid, and we do not say that he has ulterior motives looking to expose the money that she might have. And the answer is Shaneh Hatam. The case of a loan is different from a sale, because in the case of a loan, a person does not want to apply to himself the pasuk that a borrower is a servant to the lender. This is a general statement that anytime someone borrows money, that's it. They become subservient to the lender, which is an uncomfortable position. That's why you generally don't want to borrow money unless you have to. Now, if you have to borrow money, better to do it from someone who's not your wife and not your slave, just a friend, a bank, a third party, whatever. You're subservient to that person. Okay, what are you going to do? And then hopefully you'll pay him back. But a person would rather be subservient to a third party rather than be subservient to his own slave. A master would find it degrading to have to owe money to his slave or to his wife. That would feel degrading. And that's why we assume that if a person asked his wife or his slave for a loan, he doesn't really mean it. If he really needed a loan, he would go to someone else. He would go to a friend or someone and get the loan. If he's asking them for a loan, it probably means that he wants to expose any money that they have hidden. That all is true for a loan. But for a sale, it's not degrading to sell something to someone else, even to his wife. And therefore, it's not a contradiction to Rav Nachman. If the guy says, I'm selling land to my wife, then we assume that he is sincere about it and that not that he's trying to expose her money. So we solve that problem. This discussion is going to come up and again in a few lines. Shelach Rav Huna bar Avin, hamocher sadeh lishto kanta uba lochel perot. Rav Huna bar Avin sent the following message to the students in the Bet Midrash. If a husband sells land to his wife, it's a valid sale. And once he makes that sale, the husband continues to enjoy the profits, which is true of any land that she owns, even land that the wife owns before the marriage that she brings into the marriage. While they're married, the husband has the right to collect the produce and take it and use it for whatever household expenses and whatever else, because he's responsible to provide for her. And so the same thing is true here. Even though it's a field that he owned before and he's selling to her, it's a valid sale. Good, she owns it, and at the end of the marriage, she'll take it away with her. But in the meantime, the husband owns the right to collect the produce. That was Rav Huna bar Avin's opinion. However, Beram, Rabbi Abba v'Rabbi Abhu, v'chol gedorad hadol ameru, b'matana bikesh litenola, v'lama katav la l'shum mecher, kedei le'apot et kocha. Rabbi Abba and Rabbi Abhu and all the great sages of the generation said that when a husband writes a document of sale, rather, of a field to his wife, what he really means is he wants to give it to her as a gift. So why does he write in the document that it's a sale? Because he wants to make the gift even stronger. That's his intention, as we said before. When you want to make a gift very strong, and that's so that the receiver doesn't have to worry that one day some creditor is going to take it away, you say this is a gift and this is a sale. By saying it's a sale, that means the receiver of the gift has a right to come and get repaid in case the land is repossessed. So that's why he wrote it to her. According to that, seems like what they are disagreeing. They're disagreeing, and they're saying that anytime a husband gives even if he writes it as a sale, he really means it as a gift, and therefore the produce is kept by her. He wants to give her the land and the produce, so that's the disagreement. According to Rav Huna bar Avin, it's a sale, and he gets the produce. According to the other sages, it's a gift, and she has the right to collect the produce during the marriage. Me'tibe. Now we have a challenge against Rav Huna bar Avin, who says that it is a valid sale, and he gets the produce. The challenge is from the same Braita that we just cited. Lava mina eved v'shichrero mina isha v'gersha en lahem alav kelum ma'itama alav mishum damri legaluye zuzeh hu deba'a. Braita says if someone borrows money from his slave and then frees him, or from his wife and then they get divorced, they cannot come and claim to collect that loan, because what's the reason of this braita? Is it not because we assume that the loan was never meant as a sincere loan? He never actually wanted to take a loan and was not expecting to ever pay them back. Rather, he wanted to expose money that they were hiding. That's why he said to them as a ruse, "Oh, can I borrow money from you?" So you see from here that we assume in general that a husband is not trusted and he has ulterior motives looking for her concealed money, and therefore the loan is not a loan. If we apply that to the case of a sale, then that should be the same thing. If a husband sells land to his wife, shouldn't it be not a valid sale? He was only looking for the concealed money. So this beraita is a challenge to Rav Huna bar Avin, and we answer the same way as before. Shaneatam dela lishaveh inish aibed loveh liish malveh. When it comes to a loan, a person generally does not want to make himself subservient to his slave or to his wife. He considers that degrading. If he really needs a loan, he'll go to the bank at that, and he'll rather be degraded and call himself an eved to someone else. So therefore, if he's asking a loan from his wife, we assume he's really looking for hidden money. But this logic is not true for a sale. For a sale, a husband may very well sell a property to his wife, and that's why Rav Avin's law is not contradicted by this baraita. Amar Rav, hamocher sadeh lishto kanta ve'habal ochel perot, bematana kanta ve'en habal ochel perot. So Rav says the bottom line halacha is that if someone sells land to his wife, the sale is valid, and the husband continues to enjoy the profits of the land, because even though it's her land, she'll get it after he dies, or after divorce, she'll get the land. But in the meantime, he enjoys the produce. However, if he gives it to her, the land, as a gift, then it is valid, and the husband does not take the profits because he gave it to her completely. It's a gift, means it's total, it's all yours, the land and the produce. You get to keep it even during the time of the marriage. That's how Rav decided. Rabbi Elazar Amar, echad zeh ve'echad zeh kanta ve'en habal ochel perot. Rabbi Elazar says doesn't matter whether it's a sale or a gift, the transaction is valid, and the husband does not get the produce. So they agree regarding a gift that the husband does not get the produce, but Rabbi Elazar thinks that even for a sale, the sale is total, it's totally yours. I'm selling you not only the ownership of the land, but even the right for the produce while they are married. She gets everything. Okay, that's the opinion, that's the machlok between Rav and Rabbi Elazar. Abad Rab Chisda Obada ki Rabbi Elazar. So now the Gemara says that a case just like this came to Rav Chisda of a husband who sold, not gift, sold land to his wife, and they asked, who should get the produce? And Rav Chisda followed the opinion of Rabbi Elazar. This is Rabbi Elazar here, is Rabbi Elazar ben Pedat, who's a second generation Amora. Rav is a first generation Amora. Rabbi Elazar ben Pedat is a student, second generation. Rav Chisda is a third generation Amora. So he followed the opinion of Rabbi Elazar, who said that for a sale, just like for a gift, the husband does not get the produce, she gets the produce. Amrule Rabban Okaba veRabban Nechemya b'nei benatei Rav l'Rav Chisda shavek mor Rab Rebbe ve'abed kezut tareh. So then Rabban Okaba and Rabban Nechemya, who were the sons of the daughter of Rav, they were the grandsons of Rav, and they want to uphold the honor of their grandfather. So they came to Rav Chisda and they said, "Why did you follow the halacha like Rabbi Elazar? Why did you abandon the great sage Rav, happens to be our grandfather, and follow the lesser sage Rabbi Elazar, who obviously was a great sage, but he's the student, he's lesser than Rav? Why did you say that she gets to keep the produce? You should have followed Rav, that when it comes to a sale, the husband takes the produce." Amar lehu v'ananame kerab Rebbe abadi techi ata Rabin amar Rabbi Yochanan echad ze ve'echad ze kanta ve'en habal ochel perot. He says, I also am following a great sage, an even greater sage, because when Ravin came from Eretz Yisrael, he reported in the name of Rabbi Yochanan. You see, Rav is a first generation Amora and the highest respect in Bavel, but in Eretz Yisrael, Rabbi Yochanan was the greatest sage. Almost everybody in Eretz Yisrael was a student of Rabbi Yochanan, all the Amoraim. And so Ravin said that Rabbi Yochanan taught that both someone who sells and someone who gives as a gift a piece of land to his wife, the sale or the gift is valid, and the husband does not get the produce. So not only was I following Rabbi Elazar, I was also following Rabbi Yochanan. So I have plenty of authority to counterbalance the authority of Rav. Amar Rava, Hilcheta, hamocher sadeh lishto lo kanta, v'abal ochel perot, b'matana kanta, ve'en abal ochel perot. Tarte, Rava says, bottom line halacha is that someone who sells land to his wife is not a valid sale, and the husband does get the produce. Now this is strange, because if it's not a valid sale, then that's it. It's not a valid sale. So that means that the land belongs to the husband. So obviously the husband will get the produce. If you say the husband gets the produce, you expect right before that it to say that it is a valid sale. And the question is, as we said before, between David and Elazar, who gets the produce? So we have to clarify this part of the statement. He also says that if it's a gift, then it's a valid gift, and the husband does not get to eat the produce, which everybody agreed with. If it's a gift, it's a total gift. So now we ask, this seems to be two contradictory statements. Which one is it? Are you saying it's not a valid sale, or are you saying it's a valid sale, but the husband gets the produce? La kashya, kan b'maot timunin, kan b'maot she'en timunin. And the answer is, no, there's no problem. It depends. It's actually talking about two different cases. When it says that it's not a valid sale, that's when she has money that's concealed. If she has money that's concealed, so then we assume that the husband was trying to discover that money, and that's why he never meant for the sale to actually be valid, and so it's not a valid sale. But when he says the second law, that it's implying that it is a valid sale, but the husband continues to take the produce, that's talking about where she has money that's not concealed. She has money out in the open that the husband knows about. She got money from, however, a gift or something, and her husband knows about it. She has it in a box in her room. She has right there $1,000. She keeps. She's not hiding it. So then there's no reason to think that the husband, as ulterior motive, is trying to find the money. The money's right there. She's happy to admit to it. She talks about it all the time. And in that case, it certainly is a valid sale, and being a valid sale, so she gets the land, but even so, the husband continues to take the produce. Damar Rav hu Yehuda ma'ot timunin lo kanta, ma'ot shenan timunin kanta. And we have a proof for making this distinction, because Rav Huna says that if a wife has money that's hidden and she buys land from her husband, it's not a valid sale, because then we assume the husband is trying to discover where that money is. But if she has money that's not hidden, and she admits, she talks about how she has money, and the husband knows about it, and she knows that he knows about it, then he's not trying to discover where the money is, and so if he sells land to his wife in that case, then the sale is valid. Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen v'amen.